Hi, Eric Aldrich here again for another video in GTW 101. And this week we're talking about emails. Emails are, of course, the most common type of correspondence nowadays, perhaps maybe second only to text messages. And in the lesson that we're looking at this week, there are many points about what makes an effective email and what makes a less than effective email. For the most part, an email should be polite, concise, informative, and professional. Whether you're sending that email to a coworker or to your boss or to a potential client, an email should say what it needs to and nothing else. So I thought, in addition to the resources that I've included on Brightspace about emails, that I would add a little bit of my own personal perspective about email correspondence, because as a professor and as a hiring manager, I get a lot of emails. And the nature of those emails really says a lot about how I respond to them. So if I start with emails that I receive from students, a lot of the times I get an email that's just one line that's asking a simple question, like, do I have to read to page 232 or do I have to read to page 235? That's fine. In our interaction, you don't have to write, "Dear Eric, how are you today? Thank you. Do I read from page 235 or to page 239? Sincerely, Frank." It's okay to send a quick email if you just need a question answered. But the risk you run when you do that is not giving the reader enough information to answer your question. When I'm doing a lot of things and I get an email from a student that asks a question that I can't answer because they didn't provide enough information in the email, I'll be honest, sometimes I forget about it, because I generally try to open and deal with each email once. And that's a bit of advice for you as well. Schedule a time when you can check your email and when you are able to respond to your emails. If you check your emails and then think, "Oh, well, I'll check them on my phone now and then I'll respond to them later," there is a pretty good chance that you might forget about one of those emails. And I say that because I've definitely done it. But if I get an email that is not specific enough, that doesn't actually give me enough information so that I can help the person who's asking the question, that's another instance where I may forget to respond to the email. The more times I have to email back and forth with someone, the more likelihood there is for that chain of communication to break down. It's really best to write one email, be as specific as you can about what you need, provide the information that the reader is going to need to help you. So on one side, we have emails that are too short and not quite informative enough. Those are the emails that I have a hard time responding to because I need more information from the student. I sometimes get the opposite email, either from a student in one of my classes or someone that I've hired to teach a class. And the opposite of that is when I get an email that is far too long for me to respond to it. If you are writing an email and it ends up being many paragraphs, it's turning into a book. You have multiple paragraphs and you're editing it and it's taking you a really long time to write that email, chances are that you would be better off writing an email that says, "Can we please schedule a time to talk?" Often we can accomplish in a few minutes of phone conversation what would take a lot of time if you were trying to accomplish it through email. And talking in person will ultimately end up being more effective. So if you find that you're writing a very long, very, very long email, and you have the option to talk to the person that you are emailing, ask yourself, would this be best as an email or would this be best as a conversation? Again, I'm being honest here. In the past, when I've had emails that were very, very long, I don't read the whole thing. I just don't have time. I'll get dozens of emails a day sometimes, and I need to respond to all of them. And if someone writes me something that would take me the same amount of time it would take me to read a 20-page story or an entire newspaper article, that doesn't fit into my email schedule. And so I would be less likely to respond effectively to an email that is far too long. A couple other quick points. Sometimes people have what we call internet bravery, where they think because they are typing the email that they can burn the person they're writing to or write something very harsh. I don't know why I got that grade. I've never had a teacher give me a grade like that before. Clearly you're incompetent and don't know what you're doing. What are your, an email like that I may not respond to. Because why would I respond to that? All the insults and the anger, it's all extraneous. It doesn't help me solve the problem. It doesn't help me help you. And so if someone writes me an email that is very angry or has that sort of internet bravery where they're going to tell somebody off through the screen, that is not a very effective way to communicate. Most likely you will never get what you want by doing that. It might feel good to you while you're typing it. Yeah, I really showed them. But ultimately, I can just ignore that email. And when I get rude emails, I sometimes ignore them. And sometimes I write back. I don't respond to emails like this. If you'd like to write back to me with a clear, concise, polite, professional email, I'll be more than happy to address your concern. So to summarize what I'm saying in this video, if you don't put enough information in your email and your email is too short, it makes it really challenging for someone to respond to it. You may not get what you need. If you write an email that is super, super long and contains far too much information, your reader might not have enough time to really interact with what you've written. If you find your email is getting very, very long, ask yourself, can I opt for a conversation over sending this email? And if you send an email that is angry or insulting, consider that it's not as clear as a professional, politely written email, and you are less likely to get the result that you want. Even if you have a right to be angry, even if the other person acted unprofessionally in the situation, they overcharged you, they changed your contract terms, they did something that was significantly inappropriate, chewing somebody out in email very rarely gets you the results you want, even if it feels good at the time that you are writing it. So those are my 3 additional little pointers about email, and I hope that you enjoy the assignments this week and that they help you focus on that type of workplace communication and build upon what we talked about with the soft skills in week 1.